to share a video today about truth, because it's such an interesting. We all want truth, right? We all, that's the. I had a reading not long after my daughter had passed, because I was just starting a spiritual journey, and actually about a year after, maybe. I had been meditating for about a year with a friend and some groups of friends, and I was kind of ready to take it to the next level. And I got this reading from this couple in Australia, and I highly recommend them. Their YouTube is called the Divine Light, but their names are Ophiana and C. Cal, and beautiful Australian couple. But they work with a lot of the ascended masters, but they also work with the galactic emissaries that are the planetary bodies, like the planetary consciousness. So they bring back those systems online within you, and they do it in a beautiful way. The geometry is there. They work with Master Lord Melchizedek. I think he's known as, but all the different the divine masculine consciousness and the divine feminine. Lots of it, and it's really about balancing. And so they really assisted me in setting up my field for the next this work that I'd be doing. But the early reading was quite interesting because they one of the things that they recognized within me was I was a truth seeker, and then they, the record keeper piece, and then the new earth teacher, inventor, which is very interesting. I'm very playful, and I love imagining new things. So I'm a writer, so I work with magical realism, that kind of thing, in my writing. So so they really nailed a lot of things for me that really landed right. And and the interesting thing is the whole truth thing. Um, how I've experienced it. At first, you think that your truth is the only truth, right? This is my perspective. This is what I see, and I'm going to call it as I see it, right? Um, but I hadn't expanded out enough where I was giving value to other people's perspectives yet. If you can only see your seat at the table and your perspective, and that's your truth, you have work to do to expand your field. Because the minute you start accepting and expanding your field into the wholeness of who you are, right? And this is when your dynamic changes. You can't get there. It's not it's a concept, the wholeness, until you've actually expanded your field there. And now it's not concept anymore. It's actually embodied. It's a lived experience. The truth will change because now I can no longer invalidate someone's position, someone's perspective. I can I can honor mine and Deborah and my vibrational coordinates and all the codes that I came in with, the map, the template of my personality that has given me a flavor of how I perceive the world, and what doesn't feel right to me, and what feels more expansive to me, and I can give it the label truth, right? But the thing is that's still a human linear state, because the only truth is, things like, what do they say? The only truth is change, right? Because our planet is spinning through space, and it's never going to occupy the exact same space. We've got all these different orbits and, moving planets. And so we're always changing because all those systems are always changing. So we're never the same. So something's being held here. It's so funny. So the conversation is generating something which will probably end up in coding. So this is how this works: is my conversations stir up the energies, and I'm asking for divine truth only all the time. And I ask my teams to come in and assist. And when I say my teams, everyone has them. So these are your higher dimensions of consciousness. So you could call them your archetypes, you can call them your guides, you can call them your angels, you can call them your ancestors, you can call them your higher self, your galactics. These are those man-made labels for those branches of your tree that go to areas that we've allowed or perceived to have a flavor of a certain thing. I'm hoping that makes sense. Trying to keep this open-ended enough because I don't want to give anybody their answers for where they're allowing their light or even their definitions. Definitions is the definite ions, right? So it's on you. Your definitions are on you. The ions are going to respond to what you're available for. And so, what we want to do, this is how we become our energy masters, is to see the definitions that you've already put in the field of limitation that are a man made construct, right? And when you can start identifying your limitations, you're going to start seeing through veils that you had in place that limited you from seeing a bigger, broader, I call it the drone perspective, your higher self perspective. And the other people, suddenly their seats at the table are part of the one. And now you can make a case with them for their seats, what they're doing, what they're holding, what they're how their unique configuration is helping balance out the equalization, the equal eyes at ions, because that's what we need. We need there's a distribution happening. That's the scales of justice, our dragon scales of energy that for every action, there's an equal and opposite. So it's happening through your definitions. Where are you giving too much energy over here, the currency? So we know it's cut off over here. So it's equal and opposite is getting the opposite distortion. So a person who's got this over here is holding that opposite pole for you to experience your unique distortion because they're holding this opposite. So it really is, it's such a game of seeing where everyone is at and acknowledging that they're there because you're here, right? You're there, so they're there, or whatever, wherever, however that looks, and that's. Oops, it's coming in now. Okay, yeah, we just need to integrate it, right? And not again, whatever you dams you back. So if I invalidate someone's experience, someone's truth or perspective, what I'm saying is, what I'm denying is the light to them. So within me, I can't be whole, right? While I'm separating any area of me or denying it the light. So that is, if you were, let's say, a disco ball, maybe half your lights are out, right? Maybe even more than that. And they say that most people are in such a small percentage of their consciousness that I think they've negotiated, I hate to say it, through their definitions, through their, permissions and allowances of where they've actually allowed the light to go out. Because, gosh, humans have talked themselves out of so many things. That's why we are in such a state of limitation. I want to keep putting it in the past tense because I believe a lot of us are coming out of these states and opening up to these broader permissions and definitions and seeing the beauty of the design of where other people are balancing your scales, right? There's, our energetic fields, these, you can call them the dragons, you can call them chi, ki, prana, whatever, a lot of language, right, for it. But it's literally, well, here we go. It's a dance, isn't it? Well, that's what it's showing us. It's a dance. It's a dance of energies, right? So, whew, yeah, there you go. I love that when it shows up like that. So we've just lifted a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of areas where people probably weren't free and were negotiating, playing small, right? Being other, not being part of the script or part of the whole, part of the one that is just looking through billions of eyes, right? And, and that's really where we're getting to, right? You want to become more of that Christed consciousness and less of your personality, right? And when we can get there, your personality is, it feels safe. It gets quieter, right? It suddenly starts seeing the value in things that my old personality would have talked myself out of. And things like, and this is really important at this time, there's a lot of ways where separation consciousness is so nuanced. I can see conversations happening, especially in the Life Writer life. Ooh, I'm calling it Life Writer in the light worker community, right? In the light worker community, we have got ideas of where we've given ourselves, the spiritual people, a bit too big a seat at the table, and we've talked about timelines and who's going to make it, and timeline splits, and there's certain, yeah, the two earths, that sort of thing, right? Um, to me, I'm seeing these, and I've talked about this before, as nuanced, a very high level of the game where your personality is still hanging on to us and them. It's still got a little bit of, I have more value, I'm going on this timeline, and the people that aren't awake or aren't choosing, they have to go on this other timeline. And it's still separation consciousness. It's still not giving value to what they're choosing to be worthy of being on the ascended timeline, right? So this is the thing, is if I'm not seeing all my brothers and sisters in this consciousness with me, where we are all ascending to this Christed realm, I can't hold space for them there, right? Because I'm not seeing them there. So they're all there, right? We're all there, right? They're not just this tiny little point of light that is looking through those eyes, having an experience of you can call them asleep or whatever, um, you know, because that's only seeing them as their personality. We know they're way bigger than that. They've got, gosh, we don't know how many lifetimes their soul has or how big their soul is. So if we can get out of our linearity on that and start seeing them as this huge being of light and a beautiful soul that's had many lifetimes, there's no way I can say what timeline they're on or where they're going or whether they're choosing to ascend or not. That's so 3D. That's Deborah's personality trying to sort still and categorize. And again, pat myself on the back for having done a lot of work, right? And saying, because I've done this work, I get to go here, and you people are choosing this other. It could be like that, but it's not for me to decide. And that's, and I've said so about this in other videos as well. It really is not for us to separate. That's they call that the fourth dimension, right? The fourth is the sorting dimension of consciousness, right? The next level of consciousness is pure acceptance, and accepting that no matter what people are doing or what they're showing us in the physical expression of them, I'm going to hold space for them to have already expanded into their Christed consciousness. Otherwise, I can't hold mine, right? This is the mirror, right? What mirror am I allowing them? It's all permissions. It's all negotiations. It's all definitions. It's all, um, you know, be the change you want to see in the world. Well, it's also own what you're creating by what you're projecting on others. If you're projecting something on others where they're not going where you're going and you're excited about where you're going, right? What you're saying is maybe they're not going to a great place, right? There's still a level of judgment. It's the energy of, the Bible where there's, heaven and hell. It's a very nuanced energetic, and the themes can go out into almost every story, right? On the, in history, every book ever written, we could probably find the theme of us and them and good guy, bad guy in, again, various flavors. And even people that would think, oh, I don't do that. I'm not judging my neighbors. I'm not seeing them going to hell. But they're choosing to, stay in the earthly experience, the 3D, and I'm choosing to go to a higher experience. No, your consciousness is just going to consciously occupy its space in the fifth dimension, right? Conscious with your consciousness, but they're they've got the exact same access to every dimension as you, right? And for all we know, they are ascended masters in their own right, and they're waiting for you there. But the version of them that is that you've allowed to be through these definitions, right? That you've allowed them to be, is showing up in this small way. Is showing up in a more of a contracted, seemingly, unconscious way, right? But again, they show up for us because there's, our souls have agreements to play certain characters for each other. And how many people on the planet right now are saying there's most people on the planet are so asleep, right? And if you actually believe that, well, it has to show up that way because you get to be right in your reality. So that means that's the timeline you're on. You're not choosing the ascension timeline. You're choosing the timeline where a whole bunch of people are asleep timeline, right? So that's where we really have to own. That's where we have to really look at. If this is true, what timeline am I on? What timeline am I putting them on, right? And what's the mirror there, right? So I I can't be free myself while I'm actually not freeing others, right? So yeah. So hopefully these conversations are kind of, again, I come at a lot of the same things from different ways with just through language, because language, so I'm hoping this doesn't make so much noise, but it's collapsing. We collapse a lot of things and we bring a lot of pairs of opposites, like the distortion into a positive, the distortion into a negative, like where we've convinced ourselves something is really good or someone is really bad, or because we know everyone is yin and yang, so we have to get back to our neutrality and our 0 point in order to bring in the next level of their expression and our expression, right? And the story's expression, whatever the script is. If we're hanging on to a version of the script and it's got an us and them flavor, boy, oh boy. Whew. Okay, wow, I felt that. You're going to be feeling that in your bodies. There'll be a buzzing going on. We really collapsed a lot of stuff there. Just allow it to flow through you. Breathe it down into Gaia. We're going to record it. And yeah, just breathe out and see your field, your sphere, just expanding a little bit with more light. And now, see light from source flowing through your pillar with a little bit more grace, a little bit more ease and fluidity, flowing right through all your chakras, right through your core, right down into the earth. Then we're going to connect to Gaia and just imagine her energy flowing up now through you, merging. As it comes up, it's going to merge at your heart with your essence, and it's going to go straight through up to source. And we've got this divine flow of love and light going through us. And there's one channel going up, one channel going down. They're creating this beautiful piezoelectric magnetism, this spark of you where they meet. Whew. Yeah, we've expanded this. It's your field is, and your I'm going to say your two pyramids, your masculine and your feminine, are now flowing in a beautiful divine alignment. They're spinning in two different directions, perfectly balanced. We've let go a lot of stories there. Yeah, so just imagine that. Just feel free. I am free. I am free. I am free. I am in the upper room. With all your brothers and sisters, because they have consciousness there too. Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay. All right. Beautiful little attunement. Okay. Just allow this, whenever we do these, just allow the energy to settle in your field and thank your team and make it real. Make it real. Be brand new. When you get up and walk away from this conversation, do it as a person who has shed veils and layers, and you've got new eyes to see the world, new lenses, right? And and allow that, because that's the thing. If we go back and we step into old patterns, we can recreate things that we've dissolved here, but we don't want to, right? So we want to play in more of an unlimited space, right? New possibilities, new definitions. We're going to be available for new things. We're going to be available for more light all around us, more light to show up in the world through others, in their scripts, in their stories, more allowance for love. Okay, wow, that was beautiful. Yeah. As above, so below, as within, so without. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. Just allow that to come and settle in your field. I'd like to thank all the teams and the guides and the family of light who worked with us. I'd like to thank our God presences and our spirits and these physical bodies that are divinely connected with Gaia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, and that completed for me. So allow it to settle within you, and yeah, hopefully that you get something beautiful out of that. That felt really good. I'm actually feeling really sparkly, right? So yeah, I'm wishing you a magical day and sending you lots of love. Okay, thank you.